Hello there, friends. I'm back with your activity video for Sunday school this week. Now, for this, we're playing a game. And what you're going to need to do is you are going to need someone in your family to go around and gather up a few small household items, little things that you can put into a bag, like a lunch bag or something like that, so that the other people won't be able to see what those things are. So it might be a small toy, it might be a thimble, it might be a coin, it might be a small hairbrush or a toothbrush, it might be any number of small things that will fit in this bag. And after that person has gathered up all those things and housed them in this bag so nobody else can see what they are, then you're going to pick players. And when it's your turn, you're going to put a blindfold over your eyes so you can't see. And, that can be a piece of fabric. It can be taking one of the masks that we wear for COVID and just putting it over your eyes instead of your mouth for right now. It could be, if you have a couple of long socks, you can tie them together and use those. Whatever works for a blindfold. Or you can just have somebody cover your eyes. When your eyes are covered, then let the person who has the bag with all of the things in it pull something out and let them hand it to you. And when they hand it to you, you use your hands, you can use your sense of smell. You try to figure out what it is that you're holding. So, if it was a toothbrush, if you use your imagination and you think about a toothbrush, it has the sort of the long part that's kind of plain and kind of smooth. But then at the end, when you get up there, they're going to be the little bristly things, the bristles of the toothbrush. And whether you have one that has a round head on it or whether you have one that has a rectangular head, you'll feel the bristles at one end. And you have to think, okay, what is this thing that I'm holding on to? And then you take a guess and you say, is it this? And the person that gave it to you can say whether yes, that's what it is, or no. And if you get stuck, it's okay for the other person to give you a couple of clues. And, they may say, like, we use this in the kitchen, or we use this as when we're studying, or something like that. But just use your hands and feel what it might be. And know that the person that put things in the bag might be a little bit tricky. They may, take a piece of candy and put it in there, and you may have to try to figure out what kind of candy it is. So play this game, and then after you've had a chance to guess, then switch and let somebody else have a turn to guess. Have some fun trying to see how many of the things in the bag you can figure out what exactly they were. And then when you're done, you and the other people that played can talk about what it was like. Because we know that when we use our eyes to see things, if I hold up, a toothbrush, you'd look at it and go, that's a toothbrush. Or if I held up a Hershey bar, you'd say, oh, that's a Hershey bar. That's candy. Or if I, held up a pencil, you'd say, oh, that's a pencil. But when we can't see it, it's a little harder to do. So talk about things like, how hard was it? What other things did you use? What was the most helpful thing when it came to figuring out what the object was? Talk about if there was a time where you guessed what something was, but it was something else. Talk about how they were alike and how they were different. And then after you talk about that, then I want you to talk about how even though we couldn't see what the objects were, we were able to figure out what they were. We were able to figure out what had been put into our hands, even though we couldn't see it. And then I want you to think about what Thomas said about needing to see to understand. And then maybe explore the question of, well, if we can figure out what the objects are without seeing them, what are some ways that we can try to figure out what God is doing, even though we can't see God or even though we can't see Jesus? How do we figure out and how do we know what Jesus is up to? So I'll let you all talk about that. Have fun with this game. Good luck. I hope you come up with some interesting objects for people to guess. But I also hope you all have a good conversation about seeing what God is up to without using your eyes, using your spirit and using your other senses and being aware of what God is doing. Okay. Have fun, and we'll see you next week. Bye.